What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Viget YouTube page here. Mitch and Nick here to join and break down Sunday's games now. We just finished up Saturday. Let's get right into Sunday. Two more really good games here. First one up is the AFC game. Chiefs coming in as a sizable favorite, as you'd expect, the biggest favorite of the week at -10 with a total set at 57. Mitch, we know you are a Chiefs fan. What's going on here? Do you think the Chiefs get this one done, or are the Browns going to pull off a crazy upset?
I I'm I don't know. I'm gonna ride with my guys, the Chiefs. I mean, that spread's a bit too big, and this entire season you've touched on in your own videos here and then. The Chiefs cannot cover for
Mm-hmm.
some odd reason. They're the best team in the league, but they just let them back in at the end of the game. And in the playoffs, I think 10 points is way too big for especially going into the divisional round. So I mean, yeah, the Browns came off of a huge win last week at Pittsburgh, down Stefanski, down one of their linemen, down Denzel Ward. They're getting all of those guys back, so that'll definitely be a big boost. And they were powered by that defense, but that defense also forced a lot of those turnovers. That's why it got so big. That lead got so big as it did. So I don't know if they're gonna have a big game like as many turnovers as they did last game. I think Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, week off. I think they'll be good. They'll be good to go.
Yeah, and you said it first, Ralph. Chiefs have not covered a spread since week 8 against the Jets, which feels like almost forever ago. And the Browns have just been a team where they look great one week, they look awful another week. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to take the over here. 57 points in a playoff game set before the game even started seems crazy. I feel like we've never seen a total set that high. But I mean, you talked a lot about how good the Chiefs offense has been this year. Not much you have to say about them. They've had 9 games this year with 30 plus points. And the Browns, listen to this. They've scored 40 plus points in 3 of their last 6 games here. So they can score with the big boys when they have to. They've also scored 28.3 points per game when they rush for 100 plus yards. So I'm not really nervous about the argument being, oh, they run the ball a lot, they're going to kill the clock. Because when they do, in fact, run the ball a lot, that leads to more points being for them. And you hit the nail on the head with the Browns defense last week. You know, it did get high scoring pretty early. They get 37 points in 3 quarters. So I still see some gaps there as well. And the Chiefs also won't start as slow as the Steelers did. You know, what was it, 14-0 before the Steelers even really, it was 28-0 actually before the Steelers even got on the board. So, you know, the
Yep.
Chiefs are going to be well rested. Mahomes hasn't played in 2 weeks. His weapons are going to be good to go. I see a really fast start. I feel like this is a kind of a college rematch here that we saw between Baker and Mahomes
Yeah,
way
way
back when
back
at
when.
Texas Tech and and Oklahoma. Yeah, another high scoring moment like that. So I like the over here. I know it's a really big number, 57, something you don't see often, but I think it's a pretty good play here.
I mean, I'm gonna take the Browns strictly because like Browns +10. I'm not taking them to win the game.
Okay.
I'm gonna take them the points strictly because Kansas City cannot cover. That's the only reason I'm taking them. But I mean, it very well may be a shootout like it was in Texas Tech and Oklahoma. I mean, Big Ben threw for 500 yards against the Browns
Mhm.
secondary, but that was also maybe a little bit of garbage time. They're playing a little bit of prevent defense. But like I said, they're going to have Stefanski, Batonio, Denzel Ward, who they haven't had for a couple weeks because he was
Mhm.
on the COVID list. He'll really help out that defense. But I'm still riding with my guys. The Chiefs are going to win this game. Chiefs Kingdom, baby. But I'm going to take the Browns points because the Chiefs cannot cover.
I mean, yeah, it's as explanation as simple as the Chiefs haven't covered since week 8, and that's a good enough reason to take the Browns, especially in the playoffs. Laying double digits is always a scary number. Some other things here when we look at the over here, Chiefs defense is also last in the NFL in red zone percentage, meaning they give up more touchdowns than field goals. Browns defense gives up a lot of points per drive. I think they're bottom of the pack there in the NFL. Similar to the Saints Bears game last week, where I said, you know, I feel like this number is right on the head. It almost was last week in that game. I think this number is right at the right area too. I think a score as simple as, 34-24 Chiefs. That gets us over the total there, and it turns out to be a pretty good game.
I mean, I might go as that score as well. I think they still. I mean, it would be a bit of a push, but I mean, I'm still going to go with that. If it's 10 and a half, that'll cover 34-24. I'm riding with it.
Should be a really good game here. Let's move on to the final game of Wild Card Week, and a game that, 4 or 5 months ago you were sitting on your couch saying, "Please, gambling gods, let us get this matchup." And boy, we are getting it. Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling in to New Orleans to take on the Saints here. NFC South divisional matchup. We've seen it twice already. We've seen the Saints win both times already. Saints come in at -3 with a total set at 52. What's going on here? Two really old quarterbacks at the end of their career. Who's pulling out this one?
I'm sad to say it. This is Drew Brees' last NFL game. Bucks are going to take it's playoff time,
Love
baby.
it.
I mean, they are getting very hot. They're hitting playoff form. Antonio Brown, he's really catching fire. He's getting his feet under him. He's running around doing whatever he wants. The over under is at 52.
Yep.
Both of these defense have been playing very, very well. I'm leaning heavily towards the under with that,
Really.
as well as taking the Bucks with the points.
The under doesn't scare you really with Brady and Breeze. I feel like, I mean, the Saints defense has been phenomenal this year, and I'm going to take the Bucks +3 to get my pick out of the way. But I've been going back and forth. I'm not going to lie. I really like the Saints defense this year. I talked about how much I love defenses, obviously, when I'm taking the Rams in the earlier game. But as you said, the Buccaneers defense is hitting on all cylinders. They scored 30+ points in 4 straight games. Brady's been arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the past in that 4 game stretch. Antonio Brown looks great. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans have been there as well. And I think just Brady having the security blanket of Gronk as well is something that's going to help them immensely. When you look at the stats, they're almost similar in almost everything. I mean, obviously
Mm.
the Saints have the better defense. Buccaneers have the better offense. So I think this number is just about right. But I like the Buccaneers too as well in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints or the Bucks were let up a good amount of points last week against Taylor Heineke and the
Yeah.
boys, but he was just willing them. Like Drew Brees is not going to be throwing his body around like that. And if like Devin White and Levante David, I think they're going to shut down Alvin Kamara in that pass game, that underneath, because their speed is just unreal. So I'm gonna go with the under as well as the Bucks points. I think that third time's a charm for Brady. I mean, how many? I don't know the stat on it, but how many times have beaten? How many times has Brady been beaten 3 times in a season by a single team?
That's definitely a good stat. I also looked up the stat. How many times does a team beat another team 3 times in one season? And the odds are not in the favor there. Happens a little bit more than you expect, but the statistical odds definitely favor the Buccaneers. And you brought up a good point, Levante David in that front seven. The Saints are really good at rushing the ball. That's kind of where they get their offense. And Buccaneers defense, #1 in the NFL against the rush. We've seen time and time out when the Saints cannot establish a run game, it's not good for Drew Brees. And as you said, it comes down to who do you trust more quarterback wise. I trust Brady over Brees, sadly enough, because Brees
Yep.
obviously a great quarterback that everyone likes, and a great career he had. But something that does concern me, Bruce Arians versus Sean Payton. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of reluctant to take the Buccaneers. I think Sean Payton's the better coach, and if he is able to outcoach Arians, I feel like the Saints could pull it out.
I think the Bucks are a very young team. The Saints are a very old team. They have that experience of being in the playoffs. Hey, we've been here before, been here, done that. The Bucks, like they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They haven't really been here before. I mean, they had Jameis running at the helm. He was going to be able to take them to where they are at now. But I think that youth will actually help out the Bucks. They're going to be flying around, and I just think, I'm sorry, Brees, you've had a great career, but enjoy your time. Go out as well as you can. It's not gonna You're gonna lose this game, but I'll see you on NBC next year doing
That's a
football.
great way of putting it. We'll see him on NBC next year with Mike Tirico calling the games. But Saints have historically dominated this matchup, but you really can't take that much into consideration considering Tom Brady wasn't there up until this year. They did cover last week against the Bears, giving them their first cover in the last 5 games against the spread in their last 5 playoff games. So I like the Bucks though. I'm kind of reluctant to take them and win outright, but I will anyway. I'm gonna go 31-30 Bucks. So I think the over hits as well.
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go Bucks +3, 28-24.
28-24 there. So a little bit of a could be a close push on the total.
Yeah,
Could depends what you get it at, but either way, you like the under. But nonetheless, we both like the Bucks. So to wrap out our 2 games here, I'm taking just the over in the first game, over 57 in Browns Chiefs, and I'm taking the Buccaneers +3. Might take the money line, but I'm definitely safe with +3 right now.
I'm taking the Browns because the Chiefs cannot cover for some odd reason, and I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'm still iffy about that over under. So I mean, we're on the same side on Sunday's game rather than Saturday's games.
Yes, sir. And the total might be going to tease if you want to get it down just a little bit under 50 and then take the over, or if you want to tease it the other way and take the under. But regardless, some really good football matchups set up for this weekend. Make sure to put in the comments who you guys are riding with. As we always say, Mitch or Nick, but our picks are kind of similar here. Also, let us know what your picks are and how you guys have been doing throughout the playoffs because we're happy to bring you guys this content. So as always, make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Good luck with these picks, and remember to gamble responsibly.
We'll see you next week, guys.